Alric Show.
Hi, I'm Alric and welcome to the show. Kareem Weathers has weathered many storms, and so he's helping people everywhere to step into their purpose. And Kareem is here with us today. Kareem, how you doing?
There, man. Thank you so much for having me, sir.
Yeah, man, I appreciate your time.
Yes.
You're a hard man to get.
Definitely.
You're too busy weathering storms.
Yes, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
Man, there, man. Thank you.
Look, Kareem,
Yes.
you've come a long way, my brother.
Yes, a long way.
That's what you call it?
Yes. Too much of a long way, but you know.
Yeah.
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 It's been a long journey, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned about you, though, is that you had to walk away from a good corporate job that a lot of persons would say it's a good corporate job. Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say, I had to walk away. It was more so of I was forced out. But I think that, God wanted me to leave, basically, because I was so complacent. I was very comfortable. So, if it is that situation didn't happen, I would not have been here now. Because I was just so comfortable in the life that I was living. And I felt like, I had to be, kind of humbled in a little way. And, God had to take away certain things. Yes, humbled. I wasn't a humble person. I mean, I can say that, and I've said it multiple times. My persona a couple of years ago, compared to where I'm at now, it's all because of life experiences and also maturity and by age. And also knowing that you're not invincible and that you're a human being and you're not in control of you and your destiny, but God is. But I never really understand that back then. You understand? So now I felt like what I went through in 2019-20, I think was preparing me and still preparing me for what is yet to come.
That last day on the job.
Yeah.
What were you telling yourself now? Yeah, because what you're not thinking about is how are you gonna survive? Yeah.
My last day on the job, I did not even know that it was my last day. I went to work perfectly fine. I was told that there's a staff meeting, and I was like, okay, fine. And I was issued a letter stating that temporarily they are going to not be needing my services anymore temporarily. But I knew where exactly it was coming from. Right, and we're not going to get into it, but there's a lot of politics and a lot of things, were happening behind the scenes. I've devoted 6 years of my time. Like that's my first professional job as an adult. So I didn't know that was my last day. That was January 30th, 2019. I would never forget.
What was your job about?
I worked at the airport. I was actually in charge of a bag of things. So I worked for British Airways at the time, and I was like the turnaround coordinator. So I was responsible for when the plane land and you guys see the plane preparing to actually leave. I was responsible for all of that. So I'm responsible for the caterers and fueling and the groomers and every single thing to ensure that plane leaves within a specific time frame.
And
so I was in a comfortable job and safely, right? Yeah. So I was in a comfortable job. Like, boy, did I go on with them things,
When you said you needed to be humble, explain that for me.
I just felt like I was just living, and I was living without a purpose, and I was living without an end goal. So I was just literally doing whatever it is that I wanted to do. So I just get up today and be like, oh, maybe I don't want to fly to New York, I want to fly to London. I'll just do them something and then do and the designer clothes and the things and the parties and the flashy lifestyle. And I just felt like I did not have a plan, So if that didn't happen, I really don't think that it would have been a pretty sight, to be honest with you.
When God intervened, what started to happen?
When God intervened, I was still on this pedestal because, it's like even through that moment, I still felt like I was still in control, So I had multiple different business ventures, So I said, all right, then this door closed, Clearly I was hurt by it because this was my life. However, in my mind, I was a party promoter, so my events were very, 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 very successful, by the way. And I had like a whole different, streams of income. So I was like, all right, then fine. But then months and months go ahead, and then everything just started to resonate in me. And I was saying to myself, okay, so it's not just this thing. Like everything started to go bad that you can think of. And that's how I knew that it was the work of God, because it wasn't just the one job, it was every single thing else that I had a hand in, he was taken away from me, stripping me of everything. So in between the period of January 30th and about May thereabout, right? I was fine. I understood what was happening, but it didn't really resonate with me until maybe about June of 2019, and that's when I realized that I was broke. Like, whenever I have not even 10 cents in my name. So I'm coming from millions of dollars in my top boat, you know. So in the span of a couple months, not even 10 cents, you know. And I said this publicly before that I could even buy a bottle of water if I wanted to. And I think that's when now I realized what exactly was happening.
Yeah.
And that's when everything like started to sink in. And, you know, depression came on, and, you know, me, like, I did not see a reason for me to be living at that particular time, because I was just looking at it like, this makes no sense for me to be existing in the first place. And I might have, you know, I kind of cussed God a couple of times, you know, and I was just like, you're punishing me for whatever, you know, that I did not do. And I can recall, you know, asking him to just take me off earth, because I was saying, clearly, I don't have a reason to be here. And what you're putting me through right now doesn't make any sense.
During these times, were you a praying person? Were you praying, or you just give up on him now? Yeah?
I've always been a spiritual person, so I can say that, you know. But even when I was going through it, yes, I would have moments where, you know, I would pray, but them time I was even praying, you know. It was more so me accosting him. I said, yo, I said, my G, like, what is this? You know, like, I just felt as if that he, in that moment, I felt as if that he didn't really want me here.
And this is how you talk to him. You say, my G.
Right. And I was just talking to him like, yo, like, I don't know what you're doing, but clearly there's no ending to this, because this happened for the entire 2019, you know, moving, you know, onward to 2020. And, you know, somebody said to me one time that you might not know what he's doing for you. And my favorite verse is Jeremiah 29 verse 11. You know, for I know the plans that I have for you.
When it was your time to be helped.
Boy, Alric, let me tell you something. If I had 50 friends, maybe 3 out of the 50. And even my core group, they knew exactly what I was going through. And if I reached out to 10 persons, maybe 2 out of the 10 helped me.
Describe the feeling when you finally decide to say, listen, all that can go.
To be honest, I remember it was about December 2019, close to my birthday time. And I remember reaching out to a pastor lady. I don't know her from nowhere, you know, but she's a pastor, and I'm always seeing her preaches on, you know, Instagram and things like that. And I reached out to her, and I was just like, you know, I need some prayer. And I remember when she was praying for me, it's like she said something to me that stuck through. And she's like, just continue going. Like, you're so angry. And instead of being angry, tell him thank you. So even when I was removing all those friends, it really didn't bother me at all, because I knew that they are not serving me any purpose, and they're not for me. So if with a friend from me, I go to basic school and I run up and I'm going to drink chubby, you have to go to when I ask. And I'm not going to explain it to you, you know, based on where I want to go. I'm not bringing you along with me, because when I was down on a butter, you weren't there for me at all.
Well, you needed to be a Job.
But I needed
though
it.
Though they slay me.
I needed it, and I didn't know, you know, but now I totally understand.
Great. We take a break. When we come back, we continue our conversation with Kareem. From challenges to triumphs, that's the conversation we're having with Kareem. Kareem, now, when you started to actually say, thank you, God. Thank you for the challenges.
It started when, little before I started my podcast, you know, because the depression that I went through, I was really in a dark place, you know, and even before like financial things start to come in or whatever the case is, when I started to feel better mentally, I was like, you know, thank you so much. Like, I'm getting to my old self.
How did you survive that period when you have no money?
Jesus Christ. God, you know, because it's like every time I talk about this story, you know, I kind of get emotional, you know, just because I can't recall where I was coming from. And I did not see a way out. And it's only by the mercy of God, to be honest with you. You know, I'm not going to pretend like, you know, I'm the most spiritual person, but the connection that I have with God. And, you know, I can just remember days when I never just feel like existing. And clearly it must have been those same prayers of me saying, help me, you know? So I thanked him when I noticed that mentally I was in a better space. You know, yes, I might have my off days, you know, 1 or 2 times, but I am nowhere close to where I was coming from, which is a good thing.
Do you know, recognize it or embrace it as a spiritual transformation?
Yes. I just think that there were some things and people that I was around that spiritually might not have been aligning with me. Even right now, things is not where I would love for it to be. But at the end of the day, if him can take me out of 2019, him can take me out of the little problems him have now. Yeah.
You have to stay the course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Wow. Now, when you really started to say thank you, God, what started to happen for you?
I remember when the pandemic started in 2020, right. So March 2020 thereabout. So I had just like a whole rebranding, and I changed from KAREEM Big Dreams to KAREEM BWOYATINGZ, and I was like, all right, rebranding, and I started my clothing thing, and I was doing that for about 3 months. And I was like, okay, things are looking like it's going on up and up, and then COVID come, and clearly the clothes not gonna sell. Kind of body not gonna wear. And I was just like, God's here really gonna put me back through all of the things then when we just come out of. But I think that even though COVID is still here and it's a serious thing, I think also it birthed KAREEM BWOYATINGZ as a media person that like everybody know right now.
Yeah.
Because it was because of COVID why I started my podcast, because I was home bored. And I just went on some Instagram lives, and all my years of being in the public eye, I was never that type of person.
What's the purpose behind
my podcast?
BWOYATINGZ.
When I started BWOYATINGZ, from the Instagram live, I realized that there's a lane that I just think that there's no medium or channels, for the unconventional taboo topics to be discussed. And as minute or entertaining as they might seem to be, I'm also trying to open this envelope of, hey, it is okay to talk about certain things. And if it is that you feel like you're not a part of, it's okay also to be you.
The interesting thing is that the topics that you often talk about,
yes,
they are being talked about,
yes,
but people feel as if they should not talk about this publicly.
Because I think that Jamaicans are hypocrites.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
media
true.
In general, I've always said that, from I've started, I will fight me get to that. Someone can't tell you that straightforward. But I just think that media in Jamaica think that you're supposed to walk this walk and talk this talk.
Sure.
And if you don't look or fit within their mold, that means that you don't belong. And I think content should speak more for itself. So when me I talk about the things them, when the business who want vex, I'm talking about the same things that the whole we are talking about behind cameras. But I'm also giving these same people to have a voice. I've always said it, I'm giving the voiceless a voice. And that's what I love about my platform. And it's as diverse as possible. I can be talking to a sex worker today, or I can be talking to a pastor tomorrow. I can be talking to a politician. It's a diversity whom we are as a people, out of many one people. So how is it that I'm here discussing things that we're all intrigued about?
But lives are being changed because of the conversation.
Because there are so many people that, I might bring on somebody talking about mental health, which is such a taboo thing in Jamaica, right? And there's so many people whom I've seen said, hey, because you've spoken about this, or because you had a guest who I can relate to, you have saved my life. I've attempted suicide and I don't have those thoughts anymore. So things like those, and like it's always a message at the end of something. Now, so even if it's as entertaining as careless as people would say, there's always a message.
And you're not only speaking to other people to encourage them, but when they talk to you, I'm
also encouraged. Yes, because when Miss Kitty came on my show, who's my mentor, by the way, when she came on, just her story, it really resonated in me, and it gave me an oomph and a push, and okay, you can't continue doing it. So although I'm learning, or I'm trying to teach my viewers things, I'm also learning. And I'm also finding my purpose as well by just listening to each and every story on each and every topic, and also relearning and unlearning things is very important. When I started my podcast and I wanted it to go on the radio, every radio station I can think of told me no. And I had to prove myself to them and say, hey, even though it might not be for you, there are thousands of people who find these things entertaining, and there's thousands of people who we can uplift and help, right? So those, things resonated with me, just being an authentic self. And I'm still getting fight now, because a lot of corporate brands, did not even want to try to work with me, because of them. I said, well, you might not align with our brand, which is fine. You're not gonna align with every brand, but it's more so of, we don't want to take a chance with you. So, there are a couple brands now who are coming on.
Good.
You know, and them see the things them are going on and things, and I know it's a boy things.
Boyatings.
Right. So things and boyatings.
Listening to you now, you sound so excited.
I am.
Do you feel as if now you're on your mission, you're living out your purpose now? Yeah?
I do think so, because you know, even as tired as I might be sometimes, and yes, there are days when I feel like I don't want to create, and there are days when I just feel like to just stay home. But every single time that I've seen hundreds of messages, you know, people who are just like, even your most simple episodes on the radio or your podcast.
Yeah, some episodes that you think, it's just okay.
Right. They're like, oh my God, like you've like changed my day and things like those. So, you know, really, I really think that, you know, I found my purpose, and this is definitely it. And I'm very excited for it. You know, God and God work, and I appreciate him so
much. And God will always be good.
Yeah, man, believe me.
All right, we take a break. When we come back, we talk more with KAREEM Weathers.
On the Alex Show.
KAREEM believes he's now living his purpose through his podcast and his radio talk show, Boyatings After Dark. Where are you now with God?
Well, it's not where I would want to be, but I think that my faith is way more stronger, you know, and I'm now in a place where, you know, even just talking to him, I feel like a sigh of relief, you know, like I believe everything that I'm saying to him, because he has proven to me multiple times that there's a lot of things I've specifically asked him for, and maybe like the next day or 2 days after, like I would see some things happening, and I might say, but wait, some people just asked for this like 2 days ago.
Yeah, 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago.
Right.
Yeah?
So, you know, now I'm so positive in his work, and so positive that, you know, he will take me through. And he's been just removing and replacing, you know, great things and great people in my life. So, yeah.
What's the deal you have made with him?
I've literally said to him that, you know, I believe that he has done so much for me, and, you know, he's continuing to do it, and I want to go back to where I'm coming from, and I promise him that, and I know that for a fact. You know, peace of mind is very important to me now, and maybe then I did not know that any at all. So it's like, now I'm in a better place. I might not be financially where I was a couple of years ago, not as yet.
But all that doesn't matter.
But that doesn't matter.
Peace of mind.
Right? Peace of mind is so important to me, and I feel as if that, you know, when I was going through all of that and I was living the good life according to me at that particular time, you know, I did not even know what peace of mind was, and now I do. You know, so even like, yes, I might have bad days, and I have some turbo days, and I have days where I'm just like, I can't figure it out. I maybe can't even pay for a podcast, or I'm like, yo, do I continue, you know, like producing content, or, you know, and sacrifices have to be made. So I have to say, all right, then I can't pay that bill today, but I have to create my content. You know, I have staff to pay, I have so many things to do. But it's like, I would take this life over that life any single day.
But are you now more intentional about the things you do?
Yes.
And how you do it?
Definitely. I'm more aware. I'm way more aware now. I'm aware of the things that I might say and the things that I might do, and not even knowing the effects that it might have on people. Like, even today coming here, I did an interview a couple months ago, and somebody messaged me like, oh, I just watched this interview. And when I knew of you back then, I was even so scared to even post anything because you were so mean-spirited then.
Oh, man.
And that moved me, because, like, yes, I knew that, yes, I was a bully and I was a horrible person. I can't say that, you know? But I was very condescending. And I think that because of where I'm at now, then there's something that doesn't really matter to me.
Isn't it a great feeling now, KAREEM? Because I can look at it and you can look back and say, I was a horrible person.
Man. Accountability is very important. And I know that there are many, many people that I have like affected their daily life negatively back then.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so many people now who've like said to me, yo, I was so scared to even post my pictures because I was scared of what you're gonna say. You know, so those things kind of resonate in me now, like, okay, I take accountability for that, and I've apologized publicly to all these people.
Great.
And I've said, you know, if I've ever hurted you, ever, in any way, shape, or form, in any capacity, that was not my intentions then, but that was just my personality. That was not godlike of me, any way, shape, or form, you know? But now I'm more aware of what I'm saying and what I'm doing and how it can really affect somebody.
Right. So now you have stepped into a space where you're literally a mentor to so many people. Yeah. How are
And it's
you?
unbelievable, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because, you know, I have to remind them all the time that they might see my YouTube videos, they might see the influencing and, you know, things and the collaborations. But I literally have to remind them at all given time that I go through things just the same way how you do. And there are days when I get up and I'm in doubt and I might not have it all together. And I won't ever pretend that I have it all together. So I constantly, you know, transparency is very, very much big for me. So I have to remind them that don't try to think, oh, well, I want it like Kareem, because believe you me, I don't know how I'm here, but by the grace of God and hard work.
Where social media
Yeah.
tends to be fake.
Yeah.
But you're ensuring that they get the really
Definitely, yeah, man. Like, if you listen to my platform
Yeah.
or you watch anything for me, I am very, very much transparent, that, like, in any way, shape, or form, you know? And I'll talk, I'm like, guys, there are days when I don't even know how I might pay for my podcast season, you know? But it always works out in some way, shape, or form, and I won't put on a facade like I have it all together.
What are plans you have for your podcast? What do you want
plans.
now for it?
To be honest, it is surpassing my expectations, you know?
It's shocking, yeah?
Or it has, yes, definitely. But for now, I would love for it to grow. So as I grow, I would love for it to grow also, you know, to kind of impact more people and have more diversity. Although I don't know how much diversity can go, but, you know, still.
It will surprise you again.
Right, definitely. And I've always said, you know, when I started, I wanted a radio show. And so now I have both, and I've said I want to also go into TV, because I just feel like the boy is supposed to be in everybody else. You understand? If
You-
on
and
TV
you
or
will get
radio,
there.
I think, yeah, man, by the grace of God, man, get them, man. Believe me. Yeah.
Right. What are
yeah.
your plans for family?
I don't really know. I don't know. Asking that question. But I don't expect that question at all. Oh, what I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm so focused on where I'm at right now and what I'm doing. I won't say that family is a distraction, but I just don't think that I have the mind frame, the mindset, or the willpower to, you know, let anything distract me. So maybe even a year or two time, I'm gonna have the Benz and the house and the things them and the TV show and whatever. Then I can say, all right, I'm set financially, so, you know, maybe I can venture into that.
That now reminds me that it is also so important that
Yes.
we literally get the cup, you know,
To the top.
overflowing
Foundation
before
is
we
very
begin to
important.
pour
Yeah.
into others.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for sharing
No
with us,
problem,
my
man.
brother.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
All the best as well. Yeah.
What are your hopes for you? For Kareem?
Hopes for Kareem is more humility and, you know, more strength physically, mentally, and spiritually. Those are my hopes. And financially. Don't forget about it.
All right, God has been good to you, brother.
Yes, definitely. Definitely has.
All right, can you sing?
If I can sing?
Yeah.
I don't know about it. No, I can't sing.
All right, Kareem can sing. Right, so many things, but Kareem cannot sing.
Well, I can't sing, but we're not going to sing for the
You're not
camera.
All right, I want to thank you so much for sharing with us today on The Alric Show. The Alric Show will be back next week.